Let's have a little bit of fun and judge Obama's foreign policy here. First, I give him tremendous credit for keeping us out of a war with Iran. He got China and Russia to work with us on sanctions, and he didn't listen to the right-wingers here. So kudos right from the get-go. Having said that, the rest of this policy is riddled with hypocrisy. Let's keep it real. First, he said back in 2008, I will give our military a new mission on my first day in office, ending this war, referring to the Iraq War. Okay, great. And he also said, as commander-in-chief, I will not allow the United States to be dragged into fighting another war in Iraq. And that was in 2014. Guess what we're doing now? Another war in Iraq. Right now, there are 3,000 soldiers that we sent into Iraq. I'm sorry, those aren't soldiers. They're advisors, so they don't qualify as boots on the ground. I'm pretty sure they have boots. They also have weapons. He also said there'd be no boots on the ground in Syria. Well, just at the end of last week, we found out there's going to be 50 guys sent to Syria as well. I'm also pretty sure they have boots. No, just advisors. Now, look, we advised the Iraqi army to the tune of $25 billion we spent on their training. In 8 years, we tried to train them. And what happened? Nothing. Bupkis. They run for the hills as soon as they see ISIS. It's an epic disaster. So what good is having those 3,000 guys in Iraq going to do? All it does is give you perpetual war. Exactly what Obama promised he wouldn't do. Just because you declared the war in Iraq over doesn't mean it's actually over if you keep sending in more troops. Just because you say that you've ended any kind of conflict in Afghanistan, it doesn't make it so. In fact, President Obama said, unless we discipline our thinking, our definitions, our actions, we may be drawn into more wars we don't need to fight or continue to grant presidents unbound powers more suited for traditional armed conflicts between nation states. And after he said that in 2013, he used that same power he was arguing against to start bombing ISIS in Iraq and Syria. So what did he do? He got us into more nations, that includes Syria, let alone the bombings in Yemen, Somalia, Pakistan, and almost all across the world. So just because you told us you ended the war in Afghanistan doesn't make it so. You know how many troops we have there now? 10,000 troops. And back in December, he declared, nope, that's it. We are over with Afghanistan. The war is over. Our combat role is over. Except for the 10,000 guys I'm going to leave in there as part of our perpetual war footing that I said I was against. So if you want to give him credit for minimizing the number of troops we have in Iraq, Afghanistan, well, you can't do that in Syria because now we have more troops in Syria than we ever did, right? And what if they get attacked by the Russians who are also there, let alone Iran? And what if that starts a larger conflict that we're drawn into when some of them die? And what do we have at the end? You want to give him credit for those small victories, I hear you. But the war machine churns on. I'm not saying Obama had bad intent, but even if you grant that he had the best of intentions, what do we have at the end? We're still in Iraq. We're still in Afghanistan. We're bombing all across the world. And now, no matter what he calls them, we have soldiers in the middle of a messy civil war in Syria. This is not ending the wars. It's continuing the wars. You got to keep that real. And that's the reality of President Obama's foreign policy.